This is tutorial 4 on using Finale, and we're going to start by opening up our standard MIDI file. I'll click the open button and have to go search for it a little bit. Here it is, and here's our MIDI file. We'll bring it in. Okay, and we're going to use just all of the default settings. And there we have it. It's done a fairly decent job. We do have our basic issues. This is in G minor, and for whatever reason, Finale wasn't able to tell that, and so we have flats instead of sharps. So I'll have to go in and fix some of those notes there. All right, so now the first thing I'm going to do, I could go ahead and change this, fix this and do this all in this score, but it's still just so much easier to go up to the setup window and select the setup wizard and create your own score. And so, because it just takes care of all of the details at one time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm a guitar player, so I've decided that I'm going to do this for 2 guitars. Okay, and we'll click next. Okay, this is a Gavotte, and I happen to know it's by Bach because I created the MIDI file. And okay, and I will be the arranger. And oh, sure, why not put in a copyright this time? Okay, this is in G minor, so we will, oops, go down. There we go. And it's in cut time, as we can see, and it does have a pickup measure, and it has of 2 beats. And we'll click finish. Actually, we know how long it is, but I think we'll just go ahead and click finish. And there we have our score. Okay, so now I want to copy the music into Finale and into my new score. Now this is going to be could be a little tricky because I have this whole measure right here. So I'm going to save myself just a little bit of hassle and go in and go ahead and create a pickup measure in here. And fortunately, it's the way it's notated, it won't delete the notes. Okay, so now I can select all, pretty much select all, copy it, and click over here and paste. Oh my. Look at those notes. Okay, well, we're just going to have to do some things here. I think the first thing I'm going to do is probably take this part here and transpose it down an octave. That looks a little bit better. And let's see now. How is our range? We're looking here now. This is not completely out of the question. There's no reason I couldn't have this second guitar with a drop D tuning. But rather than do that, let's just go ahead and change the key. That's a D. My lowest note on a standard tuning guitar is an E, so we have to take it up a whole step. And so let's change it to the key of A minor. Well, that didn't work because it didn't know that it was in A minor, so I have to do some couple of things here. I didn't know it was in G minor in the first place, so we're going to have to open up our key signature dialog box and fix that. So we'll click on that, and yes, you see it doesn't know that it's in G minor, and we'll tell it to hold the notes modally, and we'll click OK. And now we'll go in and go back and change the key to A minor. And that should work now, yes. Okay, and there's our lowest note is now in E. So now we're in A minor. All right, so we've got that part done. We have to go in and fix a few notes, and so we can go ahead and do that. I'll select the note, and the first note that has to be changed is right there. And so I'm just going to kind of slide through here and grab the notes that need to be changed. There's another one. Okay, actually I'm going to stop here, and now that I think about it, I want to actually go ahead and create my form first. And so I know I'm going to have a repeat bar right here, so let's go ahead and create that right now. Repeats, there we go. And I need a forward repeat bar there. Okay, and then so we go 8 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and here's the first ending. Okay, so beginning here, I need to get rid of these, and here's my 8th bar. So we'll click those, and we'll just get rid of those. And so now I can create a first and second ending here. There we go. Okay, and let's see, where does it repeat again? Well, it's right here. No sense doing all that extra work. Okay, and so we'll get rid of those too. Okay, and then I'm going to insert a measure right here, and I'll show you why in just a second. Okay, so now I've deleted all of that, and so here's what this is going to be my coda, because it's essentially the third ending. Now, usually a coda should be longer than one measure, but for the purposes of our demonstration here, we'll let it be one measure. Okay, so now we've got this all. This looks formed pretty well. So now I can go back in and let's go ahead and take care of some of those wrong notes here. Like there's one right there. That really should be at D sharp. And let's see, is that it? Yeah, that's it. See, so that was a good reason not to do that before. Okay, so I've got this note should be an F sharp, C sharp, and a D sharp, and another one here. Oops. Just go ahead and work our way there. All right, so now all of my notes are correct. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and fix the repeats. Finish the repeats, okay? This is going to be my DS here, so I'm going to do some things here. First thing I need to do is click on it and right-click it, and let's go ahead and change the bar line to a double. Okay, and then I'm going to go and create a repeat. Now this time I have to open up the repeat dialog box, and I'm going to use a DS, not a DC. Okay, and so I'll select that. Okay, and our target measure is measure 1. So we click OK. And so this is to get it to play back. Oh, but you see I got it on both staves, and that would be nice if it was doing parts, but since I'm not, let's go ahead and edit that. And we're going to create a staff list here. And the staff list, we want to see that on the top score and parts. We only want to see this on the bottom part. So we'll call it top and parts to give it a name. And click OK, and that way we can use it anytime we want. And so now you see it only shows up on the top. All right, so here is where we're going to DS back to. And so again, I need the repeat selection, and this time I need the sign. And I'll select it, and I will use that staff list that I created. Okay, and so there. Okay, our coda is going to be, we're going to jump to the coda right here. Okay, and so we'll again put that in there. And to coda. Okay, and we can tell it where we want that to go. That's going to go to 17, 18, measure 19. Okay, and it's going to go there on the third time. So you use jump on passes and select number 3. Okay, oops, I forgot to select my staff list. Let's select that. There we go. Okay, and then finally we'll put a coda right here. And there's no jump involved. And we want our staff list again. And there we go. Okay, so now what are we doing here? Okay, well let's fix some of those last things. I'm going to also put in a double bar line at the beginning of this. Actually, I guess I'll put it here at the beginning. Okay, so there's a double bar line there too. Now what I want to do is I want to hide this measure. Okay, and so we're going to go in there and we're going to apply a staff style. Okay, and so we click apply staff styles, and we can, there it is, force hide staff cutaway. And it disappears. And so there it is. And so now that's all looking very, very nice. And so we have a really, it's all pretty well formatted already. I can take that out. And so our next step is simply to put in our articulations, phrasings, and dynamics. And I planned this ahead of time. So but so I'll go ahead and just start putting those in. We'll start out with our slurs. And slurs are done simply by double-clicking on a note and then holding the mouse button down on the second click and dragging to the note that you want to slur to. And so I'm going to do just these twos. Now, some of these would be kind of hard to do pull-offs in that, but it's an indication that I want them really connected. We will not hear this in the playback for these. That's my choices for my lead line here. I also need to go ahead and put in different types of articulations. Now, one way of doing an articulation is to click on it, select the articulation, and then put it in. But if you look at the articulations, you'll notice that they have these letters or other characters in the upper right-hand corner. And those that do are shortcuts. And so rather than having to select those all the time, all I have to do is hold that key down and then select the note. And so if I hold the S key down and click, it puts it right there. But what's really cool about this, if I hold the S key down and drag a box around a bunch of them, it puts it on all of them. And that's what I wanted it to do. And so once again, I've made these decisions as musically as possible. And those there. And I think, okay, and then the shortcut for accents is A. Some of these are really easy to remember, some of them not so much so. Okay, it looks like I have a couple of slurs I wanted to put in here too for the second part. Yes, I know I'm being a little picky right now, but that's okay. That's the way it has to be when you're being musical. Okay. And I missed a note also. Let's clear the notes. That should be there. And I think I'm just about done with these. Okay. And then finally, we need a little bit of, let's see, yeah, that's it. Oh, and I did it here too. I wanted those together because those are the same, working together. Okay. So finally, I need some dynamics. And dynamics work kind of the same way. If I want to put a dynamic level in there, I can use I can just double click and put it there, and you'll see these are the letters, numbers, but you'll notice that there are shortcuts. And the ones that I always try to remember in finale is number 5. And that way, if I remember number 5 as a mezzo forte, it's a little counterintuitive because as the numbers go down, they get louder, and as they go up, they get softer. But you can learn how to work with that. We can also select. So let's say I want this to be mezzo piano. And then so I can assign it to the current staff, to all staves. Okay, and so we'll assign it to all staves. Okay. Now the other thing I could also do, and I'd like to do that actually here, is I'm going to delete that, and I could create one, because what I really want it to do is I want it the first time to be mezzo piano, and the second time I want it to be mezzo forte. So I'm going to click. Oops. I'm going to click duplicate, and I'm going to edit it, and then I'm going to now I'm going to put in a dash, and then oops, not that one. Yeah, Shift F gives me mezzo forte, but I wanted this to be a dash, and it's not a dash, so I have to go and change the font here so that it becomes a dash. And so forte, mezzo piano first time, forte the second time. There are a number of different ways of doing it. That's the way I've chose to do that one here, so you could see how to make one of these. So I'll sign that, and there it is. And so we can drag it wherever we'd like. Okay, so I have that. Here, I'd like this to be starting on right about mezzo forte here. Okay, and so I know that the shortcut for mezzo forte is 5. So I click click, and there it is. Okay, and then I want it to get a little louder to the point where we're here, and again it goes down, so 4 is forte. And let's go ahead and add a crescendo in. And to do that, it's very similar to the slurs. I'm going to select crescendo right here, double click, and drag. Okay, make sure you don't let go. Okay, and then I want a decrescendo coming into the end here. Oops, I missed. There we go. Getting to, let's go ahead and make that piano. Okay, and so piano gets, if forte is mezzo forte 5, piano is going to be 7. Oops, we have the right tool. There we are. Okay, and so now we have our dynamics in all of these, and the whole thing should play back correctly, and that's ultimately the score here. As you can see, I had to do almost no layout work on this. It was just all done correctly.